Good afternoon. We respectfully ask that no air horns, car horns, or any type of loud noisemakers be used out of respect for each graduate and their family members. At this time, could you please stand and greet our honored guests and the class of 2022, class of Pilgrim High School.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Superintendent of Schools, School Committee, and the City of Warwick, I would like to welcome you all to the 60th Pilgrim High School graduation ceremony. At this time, I would like to invite Amelia Lamontia to the stage to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the playing of our national anthem by the Pilgrim High School Concert Band.
Thank you. Please be seated. Good afternoon. My name is Toby Gibbons, and I am honored to speak with you today. I first want to recognize our distinguished guests. Superintendent Ms. Lynn Dambrock, Assistant Superintendent Mr. William McCaffrey, and other central administrative attendees. Thank you for your guidance, support, and willingness to listen. With your thoughtfulness and singular focus on our students and what is best for them, our schools are in great hands with the leadership to embrace any challenges of the future. I would like to welcome our mayor, the Honorable Mr. Frank Picozzi, and thank him for his time and efforts to help our community strive for continual improvement. I want to recognize our school committee members, Karen Backus, Judy Cobden, Nathan Cornell, David Testa, and Kyle Adams. Your support is essential to the day-to-day operations of the schools on a daily basis. Thank you. Today does not happen by chance, but with the efforts and hard work of lots of people. I want to start by thanking the wonderful faculty at Pilgrim High School, who I get the honor of calling my colleague every day. I would like all faculty or in attendance to stand at this time so we can formally thank them for all they do. Please stand, faculty. I would also like to thank my fellow administrators, Dr. Guerra, Ms. Bernardi, and Mr. Fairbanks. This was a difficult year for the entire Pilgrim and Warwick communities. And during the darkest of days, you showed up and did what was needed to be done while taking care of Warwick's greatest assets, the students of Pilgrim High School. Thank you for all you did and do for the graduates and how you welcomed me into the Pilgrim family. Thank you. There is zero chance today's event and all senior celebrations happen without four women who work so hard behind the scenes. Thank you to Nisa Sangiovanni, Kathy Bonang, and Karen Few for your efforts and attention to details which makes all of our events so special. And to my administrative assistant, Mrs. Deborah Lage, simply, you are amazing. This is her final graduation ceremony, as she will be retiring in December. but I will not delete her cell phone number. My only hope is that she'll pick up when I call. Thanks, Deb. Graduates, 13 years of getting you out of bed, dressing you, packing lunches, going to events, sports, concerts, helping with homework, and putting you back to bed are not easy tasks. Please take a moment, stand, find your families, and applaud them for all they do to get you here today. So graduates, please stand, try to locate your families, give them a wave, give them a kiss, point out to them. Absolutely, you're allowed to sit back down. I'm a little bit in awe as I stand here just looking out at this beautiful sight. But now it's time for me to talk to the class of 2022. If I'm being completely honest, I had a really difficult time searching for the correct words to say to you. As I wrote and rewrote paragraph after paragraph, 3 words were recurring in each draft. They were, and are, burden, darkness, and yes. It is well documented how your journey through the hallways of Pilgrim High School is drastically different from any of the other 59 graduating classes before you. A global pandemic and the passing of your principal, Mr. Gerald Habershaw, are 2 major events which thrust you into events which might have felt like something no other high school senior should have had to deal with. Not this type of burden or darkness. So I began to think of the word burden. Webster's dictionary defines burden as a load, typically a heavy one. Either one of the 2 events stated would have caused feelings of a load too heavy to shoulder for you, and no one, not your parents, teachers, siblings, or friends, would have wished this heaviness or darkness on any of you. But you did not stay in the darkness. A quote by famous British historian Richard Evans, I think, defines who you are, and it is often in the darkest of skies that we see the brightest stars. You are these stars. You did not let these events define you or hinder your excellence. You persevered and kept going forward. You excelled in the chorus, in the gym, rinks, and pools, on the stage, in the band, on the fields, in the classroom, at work, during sidewalk chalk, and in the Warwick community, not letting difficult life events define you. And yes, the class of 2022 is different and unique. You are set apart from the other classes which have walked the halls before you at Pilgrim High School. But burden does not always have to be connected with a negative. Actress Emma Stone discusses burden as it relates to being unique. She said, "What sets you apart can sometimes feel like a burden, and it's not. And a lot of time, it's what makes you great." Class of 2022, yes, you are great. Take your greatness and continue to forge on, making us proud as we watch you head off into different directions. As adults, we rely on past experiences and difficulties to help us cope with events and situations we were not expecting. And you have come through 2 events and shined through them. Have courage to realize how strong you are and accept life's next challenges with the knowledge of the hard times that you have already successfully navigated. After today, you will be heading to whatever is next. You will come in forks of the road where decisions will need to be made to move forward. And you will have to answer questions that will require you to answer yes or no. These decisions may shape your life going forward. My advice would align to a quote I found from American comedian Stephen Colbert. He said, "You are about to start the greatest improvisation of all. With no script, no idea what's going to happen, often with people and places you have never seen before. And you are not in control. So say yes. And if you're lucky, you'll find people who will say yes back. As you move forward in your lives, I believe that there are no burden too heavy for you, no darkness which will diminish your bright and shining light. And if you find people who are willing to join you in saying yes, you will continue to be the wonderfully unique class with many, many more successes to come in the future. And in contrast to what I started the speech with you two today, those last few words were really easy to write. Thank you for the lessons you've taught me, and remember to come back and visit, because once a patriot, always a patriot. At this time, I would like you to look at the wonderful screens to my left and right for a greeting from our Superintendent of Schools, Mrs. Lynn Dambra.
Congratulations on graduating high school. We are all here today to celebrate you and your accomplishments. Michael Jordan said, "Obstacles don't have to stop you. If you run into a wall, don't turn around and give up. Figure out how to climb it, go through it, or work around it." Obstacles can be defined as a thing that blocks someone's way or prevents or hinders progress. An obstacle can be a person or thing that stands in the way of something you may want to do or achieve. As you venture into pursuing a college degree or a career experience, you may face many hurdles and challenges. Struggles, challenges, and hard times offer you much more value than you realize. You cannot grow without struggle. You cannot get stronger without resistance. There must have been a time in your life that may have been hard, but forced you to become a better person. You will quickly learn that most things in life will not be handed to you on a silver platter. To accomplish your goals and dreams, you have to persevere through problems and have resilience to overcome. We all want to be successful, but it is easier for some than others. There are many successful people who overcame their obstacles. There was a famous musician who was not an instant success. He grew up feeling like he didn't fit in, and he did terribly in school, even in music class. When he first started trying to become a musician, it did not go well at all, and he ended up taking a job driving a truck. Still, the dream didn't die. This musician kept spending time practicing and playing in the studio. Eventually, it paid off big time with his debut album, Elvis, in 1956, which launched him into superstardom. This famous athlete did not initially have the talent that he did later in his life. He says that all the shots that he missed are the reason he's the athlete he is today. Looking at his current success on the court, many aren't aware that he was dropped from his high school basketball team, and his coaches looked at him as a slacker. But this did not discourage him. Instead, it motivated him to keep practicing harder and harder. His perseverance paid off when he made the Tar Heels basketball team at the University of North Carolina, and then went on to play for the Chicago Bulls. All of this was for one simple reason, according to Michael Jordan: I never give up. Another person who overcame obstacles is a creative individual who built an empire that has lasted until this day. He has inspired magic in so many people's childhoods, but his own path was not smooth sailing. Starting out as an illustrator in his late teens, he was faced with criticism from his newspaper editor, who said he didn't have any talent. But Walt Disney said this criticism early on helped him become a success. When he later moved to Hollywood and started a studio with his brother Roy, he remembered the hard times of starting his career, and it motivated him to succeed. As you can see, when we think of obstacles, we think of something negative. Obstacles can reveal weaknesses, fears, and limitations. However, once you've identified them, you have the opportunity to strategize on how to control these barriers. So if an obstacle presents itself, don't let it stand in the way of your goals. Just change your approach. Never give up and always keep your eye on the prize. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors, and congratulations.
At this time, I'd like to recognize the mayor of the city of Warwick, the Honorable Mr. Frank Picozzi, who will also give his remarks on the screens.
Hello, class of 2022, and welcome to the finish line of your childhood. You have reached the very first checkpoint of this journey called life. All of us are very proud of you, and all of you have every reason to be very proud of yourselves. I want to talk to you a minute about heroes, your heroes. They aren't famous athletes. They aren't rock stars. They don't wear capes or have superpowers. Your heroes are your parents, grandparents, or guardians. They are the people that have helped you to get where you are today. They worked hard to provide for you. They supported you. They were there for you when you were sad or hurt. They took care of you when sick. They taught you right from wrong. They're easy to find today. They're the people that have a lump in their throat, a tear in their eyes, and a great swell of pride in their hearts. But there have been other heroes in your lives. They're the teachers and administrators that got you to this day. The scout leaders, Little League, soccer, lacrosse, coaches, and volunteers, and many others. There's a saying that it takes a village to raise a child, and there isn't anywhere that saying is more accurate than in the city of Warwick. Here, we cherish our children and do everything we can for them. Today is for celebration. Tomorrow you will begin the next chapter of your life. Some will go on to higher education. Some will go into the job market. Some will stay here in Warwick, and others will live their lives elsewhere. But Warwick will always be here for you, and it will always be your home. I've watched your generation grow up, and I am very excited for our future. My advice to you is whatever you choose to do in life, always do it to the very best of your ability, and always try to be someone's hero. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The next video will be our school committee chair and proud alum of Pilgrim High School, Ms. Judy Cobden.
Welcome all graduates, parents, guardians, family, Superintendent D'Ambrook, administration, my school committee colleagues, and Mayor Picozzi. Congratulations on your high school graduation. Take time to bask in this amazing accomplishment. You've literally gone from barely being able to choose your clothes for the day or to write full sentences to being educated, talented young adults. And equally impressive, your parents and guardians survived your adolescence. But more so, I am sure your parents and guardians, along with family, are so proud of your accomplishments and of the young adults you have become. Knowing it was my turn to give the speech on behalf of the school committee this year, I felt a little overwhelmed that I would have to come up with the perfect and wise thing to say to you on this important milestone of your lives. But then I remembered there is the internet, and just maybe there were other people out there whose wisdom I may borrow. So I came across these words of Mark Twain, which I find to be wise as well as absolutely true. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did. So throw off the bow lines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, and discover. Every ending brings with it a beginning. The excitement of this new beginning may be mixed with fear of the unknown, and that's okay. As you go through this passage from graduating from high school to your next endeavor, and the beginning of this next wonderful stage in your life, your world is about to become a whole lot bigger. My wish for you is that you will hold Mark Twain's wise words close to your heart, and even though it might sometimes feel scary, that you will always dare to explore, to dream, and to discover. I also have some other wishes for you as well. I wish you all the health beyond measure and happiness by compare. I wish you an abundance of family and friends who love and kindness will soften any of the bumps and bruises that life sometimes sends your way. I wish you will be able to manifest all the gifts and talents you all have been blessed with to make this world a better place. And my last wish, may you have the ability to love and appreciate yourself for the unique and exceptional people you all are. And always remember, once a patriot, always a patriot. May the force be with you. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to introduce faculty designee, Mr. Stephen Carter, to share his insights, reflections, and comments in regard to your principal, Mr. Gerald Habershaw.
I'm a little blind. All right. In June of 1990, I too graduated from high school. For those keeping score, that makes me 50 years old. When I think back about my high school experience, I have difficulty remembering names and faces of my former teachers. The people who were once the center of my universe slowly faded into blurry images and forgotten names. It seemed odd that this is the case. For 4 years, I was wrongly convinced that these teachers held my fate in their hands. I should be able to easily relive those days, see those faces, or recall those names with vivid accuracy, but I can't. I suspect the same is true of most people my age. But I remember my principal, Mr. Gray. I can picture him and hear his voice as he patrolled the halls and monitored the lunchroom. Why is that? I think it's because, like most people, you only have one high school principal. They are a constant through a sea of change. They embody 4 of the most turbulent years of your life. They are there in moments of both triumph and failure. When tragedies strike, they are the voice that unifies your school community. When victory is at hand, they are often your biggest cheerleader. Mr. Gibbons has done a wonderful job keeping our school together during the past few months, and he will be the face of future Pilgrim graduates. But for the class of 2022, Mr. Habershaw was, is, and always will be your principal. After today, you will all be considered former Pilgrim students. You'll embark upon the unknown that is your future. Some of you have completely mapped out your life, and others will start thinking about it tomorrow. Most of you will hold many jobs, experience changes in relationships, move to different places. You will begin a journey to discover who you really are. As you find your way, I say use your principal as your compass. If he were here today, this is what I think Mr. Habershaw would tell you. He would implore you to give back to your community. Mr. Habershaw was Warwick through and through. He represented this town as a child and returned years later as a leader. He loved Warwick and felt driven to make it a better place. That's what he would want you to do. Not necessarily Warwick, but wherever you choose to call home. Be a part of your community with the express purpose of making it better for all. What Mr. Habershaw understood was that making a difference is up to every individual person. He saw service to his roots as necessary to generations of vets and Pilgrim students. Mr. Habershaw started as a teacher at Pilgrim High School, then assistant principal at Aldrich, before steering the ship at Vets. Then, during consolidation, when Warwick needed him most, he returned to Pilgrim and created a new culture in the midst of chaos. Now you are about to be former students who witnessed Mr. Habershaw's dedication, and that responsibility to give back falls on you as well. It is a burden that all adults should share in equally, but not everyone does. The work of improving your home, your neighborhood, your town cannot be outsourced. One cannot be passively dedicated to a cause. You must get involved in order to make a difference. Mr. Habershaw did that, and I think he would want you to do that too. Habs would also tell you to treat others with respect and kindness. Disagreeing with Habs was not an uncommon occurrence. That's what happens when you're the one making the decisions. It's not possible to satisfy everyone all the time. But here's the thing about Habs. Disagreement did not mean hatred. He was capable of hearing your opposition and still call you a friend. You all saw this with the outpouring of emotion from all walks of life that was displayed after his passing. Habs was able to recognize the humanity in each person, regardless of that person's beliefs, circumstances, or status. He understood that people make mistakes. I'm certain several of you in attendance had a run-in or two with Mr. Habs. That happens when you're the principal of a high school. But an hour later, he's shaking your hand. He didn't say, oh, that teacher said this about me, or that student did this to me, so now I'm going to get them back. That's not how he worked. Habs didn't believe relationships were built on complete agreement all the time on every subject. Rather, he knew relationships were built on respect and kindness, and that many times you have to be the one to show it first. Habs was able to create effective schools, to improve this town, to positively impact people's lives because he respected others' opinions and reflected kindness. I think he would tell you to do the same. Find something that you enjoy and keep it simple would be his next piece of advice. Jerry loved his family first and foremost. He loved his town, his school, and its students. But he also loved golf. Few things brought him as much joy as chasing a little white ball around someone else's well-manicured lawn. But even in this activity, one can learn a lesson from Jerry. Jerry was a good player and could hold his own at any number of courses around this state, but he insisted on playing the same 9-hole neighborhood course every time. Mr. Fairbanks would joke that Jerry wouldn't travel outside of 5 miles to play golf. Golf to Jerry was not about playing the best courses with the best equipment to always get the best score. It was about playing a game with good friends or complete strangers who would soon become good friends. It was about sharing times, sharing stories, sharing laughs, creating moments. Golf, I would argue, was less of an obsession as people may think. Rather, it gave Jerry the opportunity to spend time with others. It was a conduit for socialization, and being around people brought him joy. He didn't need to be getting wrapped up in the competition. He didn't need to play the beautiful courses. He didn't need to have the most expensive stuff. He just needed a place he called his own, some friends to share the time, and a ball that wouldn't sink into Habershaw Pond. If he was standing up here today, he would say, keep life simple, find joy in family, and engage with friends. I think he would want you to find that happiness. I conclude by saying this. When you are my age, you'll be sitting in your backyard with some former classmates after your child's high school graduation. You'll ask, do you remember our science teacher, Mrs. Parenti? She didn't teach science, your friend will say. She taught history. Remember, she took us to the ropes course. She didn't take us to the ropes course, you'll reply. That was our art teacher, Mr. Calabro. You're both wrong, another friend interrupts. That was that loudmouth baseball coach, Mr. Landy. And then you'll sit back, you'll sigh, and you'll say, yeah, that's right. Now I remember. What you seem to have forgotten is that Parenti taught English, Calabro taught health. You never went to the ropes course. And although Landy was the baseball coach, he wasn't the loudmouth one. That was Bailey. But then you'll say, remember when Habs said this? And you'll tell some funny story and everyone will laugh. Then your friend says, remember that time Habs did that? And they'll tell a funny story. And this will go on and on. No one will confuse Jerry for Mrs. Bernardi, or Mr. Costello, or Mrs. Haney. And for the next hour, you and your classmates will share your stories, your memories, and your thoughts about Mr. Habershaw. He was a force that lit up a room, that commanded a hallway. He had such an impact on your lives that you, at the age of 50 in the year 2054, will be talking about a man who was born 4 days from today in the year 1964. That is the legacy of a well-lived life, and I think you should know that. Thank you. At this time, I would like to ask the senior chorus members to come to the stage. They will be performing with the concert band, the Pilgrim Alma Mater, arranged by Mr. Christopher Pratt. After the Alma Mater, the chorus students will perform He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother.
At this time, I'd like to introduce Mrs. Watterson to introduce our valedictorian.
Good afternoon, students and guests. It is my pleasure to have, it's been my pleasure to have Olivia Conradi in class for the last 4 years. During that time, I have watched her continually strive for success by not only practicing with the Pilgrim Band, but also taking private lessons with a former Rhode Island Philharmonic flutist. I have watched her help others achieve their own success by offering advice and encouragement so they can get their performance just right. Another faculty member who had Olivia these past 4 years, Mr. Denningham, said to me, "Olivia is one of the most driven students he has ever known. She knows what she wants, and she follows whatever path she needs to get there. But she is also brilliant, creative, compassionate, and patient." There were many days that I came to school exhausted from being up most of the night with an infant. And there was Olivia, working hard, focused on trying to make our band sound better, only to find out that she too had been up until 2, 3, and even 4 in the morning doing schoolwork. Her perseverance and work ethic inspires others, and that has led her to this stage today. It is my great honor to introduce the valedictorian of the class of 2022, Olivia Conradi.
Good evening, everyone, or good afternoon. I'd like to start with saying thank you to the faculty and staff that helped put this together and that's here today, along with all of the parents, there's an awful lot of you, as well as all of the students before me. Going into this, I really had no idea what to write. I even thought about improvising the whole thing. There are so many expectations placed on all of us, and I was definitely feeling a lot of them the past few months. But the thing is, there is no right answer to something like this, and as someone who loves finding the right answer, it was a bit of a frustration. Much like many of my classmates, I became quite the procrastinator throughout high school, though that may shock some of you, and this speech is no exception. I wrote it just a few days ago in the wee hours of the morning like any other assignment. Despite the many people telling me the importances of sleep, I really think that ghosts and wishes are onto something with the whole up at 3 a.m. Plenty of creative juices start flowing once sleep deprivation sets in a bit. I suppose I should connect this to some larger meaning, or should I say theme, since that and mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell are what we really all took from high school, let's be honest. So I guess my point, if there is one, is to do what works for you, now and going forward. No matter how much I paid for it the next day, I never regretted staying up because some of my best work happened while the rest of the world was asleep. I was asked to keep this fairly short, so I'm going to make an attempt to wrap it up. I feel like endings are usually what people remember, unless, of course, something absolutely ridiculous happens in the middle, but since it didn't, here we are. To try and wrap up my thoughts on the past 4 years in 30 to 60 seconds would be impossible. So much has happened. I was going to talk about COVID, but I think we're all really tired of hearing about it. I know that I, for one, am. I was unfortunate enough to catch COVID a few weeks ago, and truly am lucky to be speaking to you all tonight. But I don't want to end on a negative note, so I'll try to say something insightful and sophisticated. I said a moment ago that no matter what, do what is true to you. Opportunities will present themselves in all different shapes, sizes, and ways. Follow the one that fits, even if no one believes it will. And keep your eyes open, because things are ever-changing, as are we. So thank you, be sure to drive safe. Good evening, and finally, congratulations to the class of 2022.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to introduce Mrs. Bizergan to introduce our salutatorian.
Good afternoon, class of 2022, families and friends. It was Marie Curie who said that the way of progress is neither swift nor easy. Given Sophia's commitment to success without excuse is evidence that she lives by the wisdom of the famous chemist. With her bright smile, motivating dedication to her academics, and sincere empathy for all, Soph represents the best of what it means to be a Pilgrim patriot. I could not be more proud of you, and I truly hope that one day you return to Pilgrim, but as a colleague. Here she is, your salutatorian, Sophia Schobel.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sophia Schobel, and I am humbled and honored to be speaking to you as the salutatorian of the 2022 graduating class here at Pilgrim High School. First and foremost, I would like to thank all of you for coming today and for all of the support that you have provided us throughout the years. Whether you are a teacher, a family member, or a friend, it's your support that has gotten this class to where we are now. I would like to especially thank my parents and teachers for always pushing me to do my best, and my friends for making these past 4 years extremely memorable. Graduating is a bittersweet experience. I feel that most students are excited to move on and truly begin their adult journey. I am too, don't get me wrong. But I can't help but think about how I will miss high school. The class of 2022 is a very special class. We are a class full of grit and determination, a class that has had so much thrown at us. Even though there has been challenge after challenge as we have navigated our way through our 4 years of school, we were able to dig deep and keep pushing. We made it through a global pandemic, distance learning for many months, and many huge losses, including the death of our beloved principal, Mr. Habershaw. Habs, as he was affectionately known, was a huge supporter and cheerleader for all of us. And I know that he is looking down proudly on each and every one of us for making it to this special day. Even though we have had many hardships thrown our way, we have still experienced so much that we have to celebrate and be thankful for. Don't forget about the Friday night football games, the spirit weeks, or the friendships and connections you have made along the way. The transformation that this class has made since 9th grade is incredible. Our unique high school experience has truly matured and strengthened us, and all of the adapting and overcoming we have learned to do will undoubtedly help us immensely in our future. In closing, I am extremely proud to be part of the graduating class of 2022 at Pilgrim High School, and all of my fellow classmates should be too. To my classmates, it has been a pleasure sharing these last 4 years with you, and I wish each and every one of you luck in your future endeavors. Thank you again to everyone who has helped me along the way and got me to this point. Your support means the world to me. Congratulations, everyone.
To earn a high school diploma in Rhode Island, every one of you has to meet state and district graduation requirements. As principal, I attest that the following students have met the requirements set forth by the state of Rhode Island and the Warwick School Committee, and such are eligible to receive a diploma from Pilgrim High School. It is my pleasure to announce for this year, the calling of the names will be done by Class President Amelia Lamontia. I would ask Amelia to approach the stage at this time. Amelia Lamontia.
Abraham Abuhaikel. Adam Abuhaikel. Fallon Adam Beckes. Rayan Alani. David Alpeo. Azael Alvarez Aguilar. Zachary Andrews. Ethan Ariel. Justin Ayala. Jalen Baker. Cameron Banich. Christopher Banich. Emmy Batista. Noah Batista. Janelle Bianchi. Justin Bianchi. Cameron Benz. Anthony Blade. Julia Bach. Dylan Beret. Seth Bouthillier. Gian Patrice Bowling. Michaela Boyd. Isabel Brady. Marshall Brayman. Kendall Bryce. Savannah Bronzewood. Callie Brown. Harold Brown. Carmen Brown. Mackenzie Bryant. Esmeralda Burgos. Brady Burke. Aaron Cabral. Matthew Cabral. Medell Cabrera. Jake Kane. Taha Calasier. I'd now like to welcome Mr. Callahan to the stage to give the following diploma. Brianna Callahan. Brianna Cameron. Ainsley Canning. Derek Capraro. Leah Capuano. Desmond Carreras. Wilton Castillo Gomez. Alexandra Castro Darte. Jaden Castro. Madison Sarasulo. Angelica Satira. Devin Charette. Christopher Choquette. Anthony Cerullo. Alana Coffey. Richard Cole. Kaylee Collins. Evan Conseco. Matthew Conseco. Olivia Conradi. Ben Conti. Jacob D'Agostino. Gavin D'Amato. Thomas DeAndrea. Kingston DeLumba. David Del Santo. Neil Del Vecchio. Ron DeMello. Thane Denton. Mariah Deal. Zachariah DeMeza. Evan Dinsmore. Gary Dombeck. Brandon DeRejo. Nathan Dos Remedios. Aiden Driscoll. Maya Elliott. Alex Ferlito. Ellen Ferreira. I'd now like to welcome Mr. Flanders to the stage to give the following diploma. Lindsay Flanders. Matty Fontaine. Grace Forrester. Haley Fox Fagundes. McKenna Fritchie. Roman Gagnon. Sean Gallagher. Emily Gallant. Caitlin Grant. Oscar Garcia. Madison Gardner. Timothy Gardner. Ryan Garrity. Alex Gaspar. Lily Govin. Elijah Germain. Mary Giswaldo. Grace Gianello. Aiden Gerard. Nasir Gomes. Natalie Gonzalez. Mark Gorton. Billy Gott. Madison Gracie. Mia Gustafson. Daniel Hollowell. Alexander Hartley. Katarina Hermanowski. Mayerny Hernandez Garcia. Logan Higgins. Jacob Holland. Athena Howlett. Evan Hoyle. David Iannata. Jake Einbolt. Jared Irving. Savannah Jenks. Stephen Jimenez. Evan Jolly. Jocelyn George. Kevin Kelly. Jenna Kennedy. Sakina Khan. Austin Kilduff. Colin King. Olivia Kinsley. Rachel Curtin. Siaja Kong. Carissa Coop. James LaPlume. Jalen LaRose. Sean Lazar. Samuel LeClaire. Kara Lee. Leah Lee. Aiden Lemire. Rias Lenardowick. Riley Levesque. Brianna Levine. Brian Lunapina. Michael Lynch. Sarah Lynch. Colin Medor. Hannah McGuire. Logan Marks. Nicholas Maroney. Vincent Marcella. Damian Martin. Peter Massey. Emily Matthew. Jacob Matthew. Savannah Matera. Cameron Maxwell. Caitlin McCabe. Riley McDermott. Joseph McGarry. Nathan McGarry. Kaden McGurr. Kaylin McNamara. Megan Medeiros. Eduardo Medina. Madison Mello. Aiden Macarini. Austin Macarini. Joshua Miller. Kaylee Mitchell. Kevin Mitchell. I'd like to welcome Miss Mixner to the stage to give the next two diplomas.
Let's go, Mom! That's my mom! Woo! Love you, Mom!
Janelle Mixner.
Yeah, no! That's my sister!
John Mixner. Jaden Monas. Olivia Monti. Colin Moran. Anthony Marone. Amelia Murphy. Skylar Murphy. Camden Nadeau. Liana Namork. Kyla Napolitano. Aaron Arcavage. Madeline Narcavage. Olivia Nardolillo. Alexandra Neary. Andrew O'Leary. I'd like to welcome Ms. Oliver to the stage to give the following diploma. Zachary Oliver. Audrey Paquette. Heather Pariseau. Rachel Pellerin. Jordan Pernacchia. Megan Ferreira. Veronica Perrin. Davin Perry. Nicolette Perry. Ivy Peters. Jake Bertucci. Tyra Pinsena. Mandy Lynn Phillips. Evan Pike. Kylie Rose Powers. Daniel Primiano. Deanna Pro. Alexia Prue. Dylan Raddick. Jaime Rafael Pina. Lexi Ann Redman. Leanne Redman. Travis Reese. Madison Rivera. Tristan Rivera. Jason Robertson. Jarrett Robichard. Riley Roach. Jacqueline Rodriguez. Rachel Rosa. Grace Rotondo. Elena Rose Ruggieri. Jennifer Saab. Allison Salima. James Salisbury. Caleb Sangus. Luke Santangelo. Sophia Schobel. Kiera Sherlock. Jameer Silva. Mackenzie Silva. Trinity Simus. Mary Catherine Smith. Samantha Smith. Talia Smith. Dominic Joseph Salito. Stephen Soulier. Paris Souza. Crystal Saldemavan. Caleb Souza. Aiden Spieler. Kobe St. Dennis. Alyssa Steinberg. Sydney Cefaletto. Shane Sweeney. Penelope Sylvester. Isabella Thaler. Alexis T-Bird. Jack Thorne. Elizabeth Tibbetts. Jason Torgy. Thomas Turcott. Elise Van Lunen. Shiva Prasad Farah. Natalia Ventura. Abigail Vest. Maya Vijant. Joshua Wall. Jaden Whedon. Olivia White. Taylor White. Brandon Whitman. Connor Widmer. Riley Wiggins. Connor Williams. Allison Wisher. Ivy Song. Douglas Young. Kyle Zabrowski. Congratulations to the class of 2022.
You might need that. Class of 2022, if you mind standing at this time. On behalf of the Superintendent of Schools and School Committee, I'm proud to bestow upon you the title of graduate. Congratulations to the class of 2022.